Hey, what is going on, guys? In this video today, we're going to be going over how to get the best possible console gaming setup for cheap. Questions regarding gaming equipment, especially for Fortnite, are some of the most common comments I get on my videos, and as much as I'd like to answer them all individually, that simply isn't practical, so that's basically the whole purpose of this video. And throughout the discussion, I'm going to put a big emphasis on the price of certain pieces of equipment. Obviously, a $300 headset or controller is going to be better than a $50 one, but the important question to ask here is, does the expensive stuff give you enough of an advantage to warrant the extra money you would have to pay for it? Also, with the Xbox Series X and PS5 right around the corner, I'll make sure that this video applies to both the current and next generation of consoles. So it should be an interesting little discussion, and without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, so the first piece of equipment that we're going to discuss is easily the most controversial one, the controller. The sad truth about the current generation of controllers is that they're very unreliable. If you play video games a lot, especially thumbstick intensive shooters like Fortnite, your controller is very likely to break over time. Obviously, there are some exceptions and people that just get really lucky, but it seems like for most people, around the 6 to 8 month mark, they either start getting stick drift that gets worse and worse over time, or certain buttons start becoming less and less responsive. And the sad news is, even the quote-unquote higher quality and more expensive controllers really don't fix this problem at all. I've actually had more issues with the Xbox Elite Series 2 controllers than any other one I've used before, and I've heard and seen from many reputable sources that scuff controllers break just as frequently. I've even seen tweets from guys like Innocence and Scoped where they'll have 3 to 4 different controllers break on them in the span of like 6 months. Xbox Elites, scuffs, the base controller, doesn't really matter. However, the main advantage of the premium controllers to most people isn't their durability, it's actually the extra features they add, which are mainly paddles and trigger stops. Now, do I think paddles especially are worth the price of a scuff for Xbox Elite, which is around $150? If you play the game seriously and really care about doing well, yeah, I would say so. The ability to jump and shoot at the same time without taking your finger off the thumbstick is pretty game-changing in any shooter game, and it's especially important on Fortnite because the majority of fights take place at close range where jumping is most effective. However, the problem is, if your premium controller breaks, you're gonna have to buy another one. So like I just mentioned, if you get unlucky, you may need to buy 2 to 3 Elites or scuffs per year, and that cost adds up really quickly. It's possible the next generation of controllers fixes some of these problems, but honestly, I wouldn't really count on it. So I'm going to give you guys some really game-changing advice here that saved me a ton of money over time. Whenever you want to purchase a premium controller, do it through Best Buy and get the 2-year replacement guarantee. Now, this is going to cost you an extra $40, which does suck, but when you consider the risk versus reward here, it's clearly worth it. If your controller breaks at all within the first 2 years you have it, as long as you purchase that warranty, you'll get a new one totally free of cost. And the best part is, you can buy the warranty again on the new controller you get and just keep doing that over and over again. So basically, instead of paying $150 every time the controller breaks, you're only paying $40. That still isn't something to be happy about, I guess, but it's a lot better. The only way you really lose in this scenario is if your controller doesn't break in the first 2 years. Now, first off, based on my experience, that's definitely rare, but even then, you only lose $40. And your saddest about that should be overtaken by happiness due to the fact that your controller hasn't broken in 2 years. The only bad news is, as of right now, Best Buy has a very limited stock of controllers due to everything going on in the world, and also, they don't sell scuffs. You can get an Xbox Elite controller, the Astro C40, or plenty of other premium ones, but if you only want a scuff specifically, sadly, this scheme doesn't work. And what's great is that the method will also definitely carry over to the next generation of premium controllers as well. The other low-cost controller option I want to quickly mention is the PS4 back button attachment. This is basically a set of snap-on programmable paddles made directly by Sony for the PS4 controller, and at a retail price of only $30, it's the best controller bargain available in my opinion. Unfortunately, we have some bad news here also. They're pretty much out of stock everywhere right now and have been for the last 2 to 3 months. However, if you're desperate or just a little impatient, you can actually buy them from sellers on eBay. Based on recent sold listings, they go for about $45 to $50 on there, so definitely a little bit of a markup, but even at that price, I still think it's a really good deal, and I've honestly only heard good reviews about that product. The next thing I want to talk about in this video is the TV/monitor you play games on. I've said it a few times before in the past, but I truly believe that a good quality gaming monitor is one of the best purchases you can make if you're just playing the game on a regular TV right now. Not only will it make you slightly better at the game because of the faster response time and higher quality graphics, but unlike most pieces of gaming equipment, monitors are very fairly priced, super durable, and have multiple different uses. You can get a high quality 1 to 3 millisecond response time 24 to 28 inch monitor for between maybe $120 to $150, and that's literally cheaper than one Scuffer Xbox Elite controller. And unlike with controllers, what makes monitors so durable is the fact that you aren't moving or touching them when you play. It just sits still in one place for 99% of its life, you press one button to turn it on or off, and that's it. So unless you like punch it while raging or something, there's no reason a monitor shouldn't last you at least 3 to 5 plus years until maybe you want to upgrade it. Now here's where things actually get a bit interesting. The PS4 and Xbox One cap out at 60 FPS, so you only need a 60 Hz monitor. However, the PS5 and Xbox Series X will apparently be able to run games at up to 120 FPS. So because of that, if you want the full benefits of that increased FPS while playing Fortnite or any other game, you're gonna need a 144 Hz monitor. The good news is it barely increases the price. Honestly, it's only by about $10 to $20. So here's what I'd personally recommend. If you plan on getting the PS5 or Series X in the next 2 to 3 years or so, if you buy a monitor, make sure it's 144 Hz. Honestly, scratch that. With how long monitors last, if you plan on buying the PS5 or Series X at all, make sure your next monitor is definitely 144 Hz. And I'll link some high quality ones in the description that have a bunch of good reviews just to give you some options in case you're interested. The next piece of console gaming equipment we need to discuss is the headset. Now, do you need a headset to be good at video games? Yes, 100%. However, I personally believe that headsets are also the piece of gaming equipment that give you the least bang for your buck with the premium models. The highest quality headset available in my opinion is the Astro A50s, which will cost you about $250 to $300, and that's simply too much money for the slight advantage that they give you in a game like Fortnite. So if you're looking for an area of your setup to go a bit cheaper on and save some money, this is definitely it. You can get a $40 to $50 pair of Turtle Beaches that are probably 75 to 80% as good as even the highest quality headsets, so I think that's a really good deal since it's only about 20% of the cost. And in terms of durability, I'd say headsets are somewhere in between controllers and monitors. If you take good care of them, they should last you at least a year or two, but especially with the lower quality headsets, that point in time is where you might start running into some problems and have to buy a new one. And even though it hasn't officially been announced yet, people are pretty confident that current generation headsets will work on the next generation of consoles, so if that's something you're concerned about, I'd definitely look into it a bit. The final thing I want to talk about in this video are control freaks. These are the little plastic stick extenders that you attach to the right thumbstick of your controller, and supposedly the extra length gives you more control and makes it easier to aim. Now I'll be honest, I've never used control freaks in my entire gaming career, but the majority of people I talk to who tried them do think they made their aim better. Not everybody, because I have heard some negative opinions as well, but definitely more positive ones. The reason why I think they're worth a try no matter what is because they're so cheap. You can get a pair for about $10 to $15, so if you don't like them, it's really not a huge deal at the end of the day. I've heard the Galaxies are the best Control Freak model for Fortnite specifically, and please make sure that you only put a Control Freak on your right thumbstick. Putting one on the left thumbstick too will actually limit your range of motion and end up making you worse. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you watched the entire thing, be sure to let me know with a comment down in the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts or opinions on any of the pieces of gaming equipment that I mentioned in this video. Your review might end up helping someone else who's thinking of making a purchase. Be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications, do whatever the heck you want, and I will catch you guys next time.